Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Joe Gould. I'm here with Adam Winters, and we are not in the hood, but we did watch Leprechaun in the Hood from the year 2000, the fifth entry in the Leprechaun series.
Are we committing cultural appropriation by watching this movie? I couldn't quite figure that out.
I don't think so because we were alive and old enough to watch it when it came out the first time.
Okay.
We are
Works
90s
for me.
kids.
Works for
We
me.
lived through the 90s, the WWE Attitude Era. We saw all kinds of inappropriate things. Some of us said a lot of inappropriate things.
I probably heard most of these words for the first time on the banned school bus. Most of the words in this movie. Where'd you hear these words for the first time?
Oh, at home.
Okay. Well, you got
on the
me
school,
beat.
at the school ground, during recess, that kind of thing. I didn't take the bus, so I didn't hear it on the bus. I heard stories about the bus.
Not the regular school bus. I only rode that briefly, but the band bus when you're going on marching band trips to games and competitions. That's where I learned most of these things.
Got you. And we probably all have fonder memories of the 90s than we should. But the 90s made hardened kids. It made us who we are. I think we might be the last successful generation. I'm joking somewhat.
We had fun doing it, though. We had fun. What's the word here? It hardens you a little bit, but it's fun while it lasted too.
Yeah, during middle school, it gets overboard a little bit too much bullying.
Even compared to previous entries in the series, how many words of certain flavor does this movie contain? Because I don't know if we went a full minute without somebody dropping some kind of bomb.
Yeah, I think that 90s rap culture, this movie's all about. I mean, it's got Ice-T in it, so.
He's mellowed so much, though, right? Wait. Hold on. Is it Ice-T or Ice Cube? I get them mixed up. Is this Ice-T?
Ice-T. This is Ice-T. And I never listened to rap, so that part of it escapes me. I couldn't tell you when his prime years were. I would imagine if he's doing Leprechaun in the Hood, he's on the back end of his music career.
No. Don't you realize he had this amazing second career for the boomer generation of Law and Order, I think? Or CSI?
That doesn't count. I'm talking about his music. This
would have
predated all of that. Yeah, this would have predated all his TV stuff.
It's amazing all the people that probably watch him on television for decades that never would have been caught dead or alive listening to his music. Probably banned it in their house.
But, Leprechaun started Jennifer Aniston's career, and it started Ice-T's transition over to video.
Huh. So video killed the rap star, or Leprechaun video killed the rap star.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
But, yeah. And I have to say, I think it's my embrace of the 90s, of nostalgia, that there is a way in which this is my favorite Leprechaun movie so far. I think they nail the absurdity so well. And because limericks and rap battles work, I mean, it closes with an amazing scene, which we can talk about later.
Yeah, it does.
Just really brought me back to Ice Turtle, or whatever it was. And, wow.
So, what was the other thing I was trying to remember about this? Language, the cast there. You mentioned the ending. It's worse. I guess we can save that for a while, but that one took me by surprise quite a bit. I think everybody performs very well in this. Everybody who's cast in the movie, because what I expected was somehow that 90s image of rap culture that you get when white people write all the script and direct it. Something like a Disney Channel or a Nickelodeon sanitized version of rap culture in the hood culture.
Yeah, you don't get that here.
It's very authentic in that regard.
I don't know that it's the best Leprechaun movie, but I think it's having the most fun. It's having the most fun.
You think it has more fun than the third movie in Vegas? Because, Vegas is an interesting connection between these two movies.
Well, I think the third movie is a better movie, but this movie I do think has more fun. It's a little bit more absurd, ups the ante, so to speak. A lot of it's because of Ice-T. Ice-T is great in this.
The drag element. Have we seen that before in a Leprechaun movie? Whole lot of drag in this movie. I think played for laughs, but not 100%.
Played for laughs in a 90s way. They're kind of making fun of it. And probably doesn't hit audiences that are real young as well, so to speak. And it's the quip of the leprechaun. He's like, I'm not here for fruit. I want my flute.
I hope you wrote other limericks down from this movie. Yeah. Is this set in Los Angeles? Did I get that right?
I think so. They wear Brooklyn shirts, but I think they're in LA. And they're because they have to be close enough to Las Vegas to get there.
So it's a connection to the second movie, maybe. Also set in Los Angeles, and they want to get to Vegas. I wonder if this is supposed to take place between the two movies. I wonder about a Leprechaun timeline, but maybe we can talk about that later.
Yeah, so it opens with a flashback in the 1970s, and you got Ice-T, who plays Mac Daddy Onassis. And
Onassis, really? I forgot about that.
And he's got a partner's not the right word. He's got a lackey named Slug. And apparently they had some treasure map that was supposed to point them to some gold, and they're looking for it down in the underground.
Is it not some warehouse? I thought it was just some random warehouse.
No, I think it's underground because you can hear the you can hear the trains in the background.
Yeah,
and he gets mad at Slug and pushes him, and he falls through a wall. And then I think it's supposed to be the Leprechaun's cave, and you have the stone statue of the Leprechaun, and I think it's the same prop as the one in the previous movie. And he's wearing a medallion, possibly the same medallion in terms of being the same prop. And there's a bowl of gold in front of him, and this gold is taking the form of the classic. Yeah, he's got 100 coins, but he's got a bunch of other random crap in there too, including a flute.
The flute is not a random crap, but I do wonder why they decided to introduce that now. A new MacGuffin everybody wants.
And then, so Mac Daddy takes the flute. He's just drawn to it and tells Slug to pack up the rest of the stuff. And of course, he starts with the medallion. And the Leprechaun comes alive, stabs the lackey in the throat with his comb. And then Mac Daddy and him get into a little battle where you have the first gag scene of the movie where Mac Daddy, Ice-T, has a giant fro and he's pulling out random things like baseball bats to try to take down the leprechaun.
I forgot about that. He has everything in there, doesn't he?
Yes.
Does he have a giant stick at one point? Does something very long come out of the fro?
That was the baseball bat. He started with a knife, and then he had the baseball bat, and then he went for something else. I couldn't find what he was looking for. But ultimately, the leprechaun throws him against the wall, is walking over to get his flute back. There's a steam pipe of some sort that Ice-T sets off, and it messes with the leprechaun. He falls backwards, and basically turns into a Looney Tunes joke, where he falls down, the medallion flies up in the air, he's looking up at it, you have a camera angle of where's it going to go? Yeah. I think the leprechaun laughs, but it comes down and lands on him.
Foreshadowing. Very important foreshadowing.
Very important. And he turns into a much less cool-looking statue.
I wondered about that. Did they change the statue in production somehow?
Well, he's posing the first time. Like he's a sailor standing on the edge of his boat with his arms kind of bowed underneath him, like a Donald Duck type pose the first time. And it's like a real statue. And I do think it's the same statue as in the previous movie. I'd have to go back and look to confirm that, but it looked real similar. And then he's not in that pose when he turns to stone the second time. He's just got a horrified face. And it looks almost like CGI in the first scene where he has that face. And I'm not sure why, because I do think later on when they bring him back, it's a real statue again. Not the same statue, but still a statue. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe the statue wasn't done when they filmed that scene. But
well, I know they had to get to fit it inside that glass case, and I'm assuming they had to work with what they got as far as cases go.
But I did wonder, to start the movie off, I do like that leprechaun statue, but why would he have been posing like that when he got his medallion put around his neck to be frozen?
You know, there's always that tradition with gargoyles. When they turn to stone, they pose first.
And at that point, we flash forward 20-ish years, I guess. I'm not sure. And we go from the 70s to the 90s. And you got 3 struggling rappers. Postmaster P.
Young. Yeah, they're young.
Maybe.
Fledgling. We'll use the word fledgling rapper.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's Postmaster P, who's supposed to be the good one. You have Stray Bullet. That's ironic. And you got Butch. And
we love Butch, don't we? I love Butch.
Stray Bullet would be the equivalent of the Coyote in the Roadrunner cartoons in terms of just always up to no good. Butch is the smart one, but he's also the big fat one. And by smart, it's kind of relative.
He's the funny one, isn't he? That's what I saw.
Yeah, he'll go do research and he knows how to make
He
smoke
is the
bombs
smart
and
one.
things
I
like
guess
that.
you got that true, yeah.
And they're doing an audition and the speaker sets on fire and they don't get the gig and they're broke and they're trying to figure out what to do. So they go and try, the positive one with integrity goes to try to sell a fake Jimi Hendrix guitar that was allegedly signed in 1971, even though everyone
This is a
knows he died in 1970.
I like this gag. This is a funny little bit that they play. It doesn't wear out its welcome for me because they take it to two different places.
Which is challenging to do it in two different places right in a row. That's not how you would think a script would go, but Well, after leaving the second place, they randomly meet Mac Daddy, who's driving by.
Yeah.
And for no apparent reason, he gives them the opportunity to audition for him.
And he's dangling that flute. He just has it with him all the time like a cigarette.
And at this point, they haven't revealed the power of the flute. But it's obvious that at the very least, Ice-T has used the Leprechaun's gold to accrue quite an empire. So he's running the show. And I don't know if you would say that he was impressed, but he didn't hate it. And he said, all you got to do is get rid of this positive message and go hardcore lyrics about rap and gang culture. And the positive P kind of rejects that. Squirrely Coyote says, hold up here, buddy. And then the big fat one almost falls into the Leprechaun on display, which we should mention in his office on the floor in a very inexpensive looking glass case is the Leprechaun stoned up with the medallion around his neck. So quite the eyepiece. If you're coming in to talk to the legendary Ice-T. And at some point, Ice-T says, what are y'all going to do? And they say, we're not going to change the message. And then Coyote's like, maybe we will. And then Ice-T's like, no, too late, get out of here. And he kicks him out.
I don't understand anybody's motivation at that point either. It's like, what is Ice-T? What does he really want here other than money, I guess?
The stretch is that he has no business wanting to entertain the idea that these are good rappers. And as an audience, it's not like we saw some great rap going on at the beginning with, really inventive lyrics or anything like that. It was just like be happy, be positive, life will get better. That's basically what they were saying. And then the speaker blew up. So, they're not presented as future stars. Let's just put it that way.
Now, to be fair, I could not identify a good rap group from a bad one from a great one. So I'll just put that out there. That's me.
Well, no charisma. How about that? They got no rap charisma.
That's something, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
And they're kind of small and scrawny. Like Ice-T, man, he's got stature to him. You think he could do the things he's rapping about.
He's dressed for it now that he got rid of that big old afro prop on his head.
Yeah. So they leave his office, and they're very upset about him wanting to change their positive lyrics. So they decide they're going to rob him.
Was it Stray Bullet who came up with the idea, and then everybody else either readily agreed to it or got talked into it?
Yeah, so Stray Bullet Coyote, it was his idea. Butch was all about it. And then Postmaster P says, hold up, guys. I'll see you later on Judge Judy. And they tell him he has till 6:30 to change his mind. And they immediately cut to the next scene where he has changed his mind and he shows up with a gun, I believe.
It's too bad that most of the people in this movie didn't live through the end, so we couldn't have got a Judge Judy cameo.
Maybe it's in the sequel. But and so they go and they easily get into his office, which clearly needs better security.
Yeah. I mean, he is in the hood, isn't he? You would think he's prepared for this sort of thing to some degree.
At least a locked door. But, you got a leprechaun statue in his office. You can't be having that get robbed or stolen.
No. Or even toppled over.
Yeah. They're in the process of robbing him. Ice-T comes into the door. At the same time, to get to the leprechaun's necklace, they have an explosion that they're going to use to break into the glass case, which appears to be about 1/10 of an inch thick. I don't really understand that.
It's
probably
weird
not
to me
even locked.
It's weird to me with 3 kids. That's the specific thing they really target or they're going for. Do you think they're experts on jewelry? Like, do they have any idea how much they think they get for that?
I don't think they knew about the gold yet. I think all they knew about was the medallion that looked expensive on the stone little leprechaun statue.
Okay.
But
'Cause they wanted to use that money to get to Vegas, was the idea?
I believe so. Or oh no,
'Cause-
they need to get more equipment so they can audition and get to Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they got to win a contest or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently you have to provide your own speakers at this contest. I doubt that really
Like,
happens, but
that would be such a nightmare. Like, goodness. Everybody
oh yeah.
hauling these things in and out for each performance. I
Yeah.
don't know rap, and even I know that wouldn't make any sense.
So the explosion goes off. Ice-T's there. I believe it was Positive P. He gets spooked, and he's already holding the gun up at Ice-T, but he pulls the trigger, probably not on purpose, and he gets shot and he falls down. In the process, or at the same time, Butch takes the medallion, so the leprechaun's free, and they pump him full of lead, and he kind of mini explodes.
So, Postmaster P here should have gotten a new nickname, Straight Bullet, instead of Stray Bullet.
Yeah, for trigger finger. But
Ooh. Yeah.
yeah, so they run away, having seen leprechaun parts fly, and then the leprechaun parts start to reconstitute, and this little smoke bomb goes off, and he pops up, and it's very Vegas-esque, and he tells Ice P or Ice T, who is not dead, as he had a necklace on that stopped the bullet, and he basically, if I'm not mistaken, told Ice T that he better get his gold back quickly. But there is an expectation that he wants his gold back and his flute.
Yeah, who has the flute at this point? I got confused. Do the kids have it?
The kid got it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When they shot him, they went and checked on him to see if he was okay or dead, which apparently they misdiagnosed that one. And he's
It's like Miracle Max goes through his clothes and look for loose change, or in this case, a loose flute.
yeah. And Positive P, straight bullet, trigger finger, sees the flute and steals the flute. What a nice guy.
Yeah, I wonder about this poor kid. I can't blame his grandmother, or whoever, but he got some contradictions in his life.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So then Ice T goes to the club, and he goes into the restroom to collect himself. And
What is it
Leprechaun
with
shows up.
leprechauns in the restrooms in this series, man?
Yeah.
All this business that happens in the men's room in Leprechaun movies.
And now that I think about it, this is where the leprechaun gives him the ultimatum. Ice-T is calming himself with a joint. The leprechaun takes a hit. They have a conversation about how this is the good shit. And he goes to hand it back to Ice-T and drops it and rips his finger off.
Well, no, hold on. The ring, right? The ring on the finger is what he grabs. Because that's a message about the gold, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah. And at that point, he says, "You better get on it. Get me my flute back. Get me my gold back. Or find my gold." And then we have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the kids pawn off, I guess, the gold to pay for their equipment.
The medallion or the gold?
I think the gold. The gold disappears in this movie. And I think this is how they write it out of the story between this and the next scene. But
when does Postmaster P begin to use the flute? Because I think it's in one of these pawn shops. It comes up.
It's right here. It's the two other guys are talking to the pawn shop owner to try to figure out what they can get in terms of equipment and warranties. And I think Postmaster P's bored and starts playing with the flute, and he blows into it. And the pawn shop guys and his friends, they become like, Pied Piper mice that start staring at him. But at the same time, the leprechaun, I think, recognizes that his magic's been used. So then when they leave, the leprechaun goes to the pawn shop, and that's where the first guy gets killed in the street.
Which guy does he kill first? There's a black pawn shop owner and an Asian one.
Yeah, he kills the black one. I don't think the Asian one got killed.
Surely, but now the black one, he conjures up the guy's ex-wife or something, right? That's pretty twisted, which I don't know how he would have known what his ex-wife would have looked, sounded, or acted like. But pretty twisted.
It's leprechaun magic.
Yeah, okay. He knows. He always knows.
So my assumption is he kills the pawn shop guy and then goes in and gets the gold that they had bartered for. Must have been very expensive equipment. Because at this point forward, I think the flute is the only gold that's spoken of.
So the leprechaun did get the gold back, but it's really not relevant to the rest of the movie after the pawn shop.
Yeah, and he never lost his powers or anything like that. It really is about the flute. And I guess they did have to temporarily have the gold stolen for the story to make sense. But it's really about the flute. even Ice-T. That's really all he cares about. And we should say, after Ice-T leaves and the Leprechaun's still in the club, he creates his little zombie fly girls.
Well, hold on. Wait.
If you
No.
didn't know what happened, you wouldn't know what happened. But later on, you figure out what happened.
Are you saying, are you of the opinion that the very last bit of the movie is actually a flashback to what happened previously?
It's hard to say. I don't want to give it away, but this is the one movie so far where you could say the Leprechaun wins. And it could have happened earlier. It could have happened later.
It does
I don't
make
know.
more sense if he does it when he's in this club.
It does. Yeah. But he kind of kills the owner of the club, and you see him sitting with some girls who are zonked out with sunglasses on. So we don't know exactly what's happened at this point. But later on, we discover that they got the green eyes now, and they're leper slaves, or whatever the appropriate term would be for that. So basically, he's now a leper pimp, or pimpercon.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
There's an odd plot point because it seems like the leprechaun is capable of doing what the flute does, even if he doesn't have the flute.
Yeah, which he does that in all the movies for the most part. The flute allows, I guess you could say, external characters to wield the power. I don't know as a leprechaun why you'd want to give a flute that kind of ability, but I guess he found it somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
At that point, the leprechaun kills a lot of people, and I don't know if we want to get into all the details on this, but the kids are basically on the run from the leprechaun and Ice-T for a big chunk of the movie. He ends up killing a shady reverend.
Oh, we got to talk about this guy now.
We'll come back to that. We got
to talk about that guy.
I don't know if we want to talk about all the stuff. So he kills a reverend, some pawn shop owners, a transgender hooker, and
what's that guy's name?
I don't know on that one.
It's really creepy to me that the kids seem to be friends with him. And not only that, they will stay in his house while he does who know what in another room.
Yeah, I mean, we're spectators in this movie, Adam.
I know, man. It ain't my culture. That's okay.
So ultimately what happens is they enter a hip hop contest. It's the audition for the Vegas show, and the leprechaun shows up. But we'll come back to that. First, the reverend. Well, I'll let you take it away. There's so many things to this. You have a safe involved, a choir.
Yeah. Another callback to the second movie with the iron safe, which I didn't know they knew that was a strategy. I was a little bit confused when the boys are hiding out in the reverend's little church, and they all go upstairs to the office, and he is, I don't know, taking the money out of the safe. Do you think he's financially corrupt in addition to being morally, sexually corrupt?
Yeah, I would assume so. They're up in the room with the preacher hiding from the leprechaun who's found them, and they trick the leprechaun into running into the safe by opening the door at the appropriate time, and they lock him in there, and they basically tell the preacher, hey, keep an eye on this guy while we're doing our audition.
Yeah.
And then you have one of the leprechaun ladies comes in, and I can't say seduces him. He seduces himself.
Yeah, she doesn't do a thing until he just sort of initiates the seduction. When the leprechaun was inside of the safe, it sounded like he was trying to conjure up something from the underworld, like Beetlejuice style netherworld. And he said zombie fly girls. So I really didn't expect what happened next, because I thought I was going to see some creature effects. But all I got was the weird green light in the eyes.
Well, and that's where they're paying off the scene from earlier when you don't really realize exactly what he's done. Great scene. It's fun. And then now we're at the hip hop contest or whatever it is. And the leprechaun gets there, and he uses his powers where he can control people to make them do things. And he's about to have Stray Bullet shoot Butch. And then he says, give me the flute and I'll let you go, basically. And Stray Bullet's like, give him the flute. And Postmaster P gives him the flute. And the leprechaun more or less says, thank you. You came so close to having so much money. And him and his girls are in the process of leaving when Postmaster P makes a heel turn of some sort. And he charges at the leprechaun. And the leprechaun's like, hold up, bud. And he makes Stray Bullet shoot himself in the head.
And the boys, the next thing we see is a cut to the boys having put him in a car and just left it.
Yeah.
What?
Make it look like a suicide.
Positive vibes in the community, man.
Yeah, it's who would have thought? Who would have thought? It doesn't make a lot of story sense, other than Postmaster P is not really a good guy. He just thinks he is,
Yeah, that's
which is
fair.
not really central to the plot. Like nothing that doesn't actually have to be true for this movie to work. But whatever. Okay. Then Butch shows up when he's done research, and it's the yellow book, How to Train a Dummy. Leprechauns for Dummies.
Boy, we've come a long way since that early 90s CD that you put in.
Maybe that CD was the CD in the back of the book.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Do you think that book exists in real life since they got the cover for it mocked up? Leprechauns for Dummies. I like that.
Yes. So they decide they need to get the flute back. They're not going to go down like that. And the plan is to put 4-leaf clover powder into a joint to weaken the leprechaun.
This is a good plan. I like this as a strategy.
It is a good plan. But then they decide, well, how are we going to get to him?
This is not a great plan. I don't think so.
Well, it's not a great plan, but it works. And they get dressed up in drag.
Where did they have these clothes at? Where did they get them at?
I think they got them from Grandma. I don't know.
It must have been in her younger days. Maybe. How did it even fit Butch? He's a Postmaster P's in very good shape. Like I said, that guy could probably be an aspiring athlete if he wasn't into acting. But man, Butch, come on now. He might have played football. Yeah, I give him a little bit of credit. But he's a big boy.
So they go to the club where the leprechaun is ruling now with his zombie fly girls.
Does Does Ice-T come back at this point, or does he save it for later?
He's not quite here yet. He's on his way, it sounds like, though.
Yeah.
And they free the girls by getting them to smoke the clover. And then they go to the leprechaun, who he asked for a favor, but they get him doped up.
We should mention the leprechaun is recruiting new zombie fly girls, right? And that's why this probably works, I think.
Yeah. So the leprechaun asks for something inappropriate, but they get him to smoke the joint, and he eventually stones out, and they get the flute, and they run off. I don't know what they really think's about to happen, but they get away.
Or from one of their enemies, but not both.
Yeah. And then on their way in the service elevator to wherever they're going, Mac Daddy shows up and shoots Butch. So Butch is gone. Yes.
Merciless, man. Right through the heart.
Right, exactly. And then Postmaster P holds the gun at Mac Daddy, Ice-T. He says, "You ain't no killer. You ain't no gangster." And then he shoots Mac Daddy 3 or 4 times on the right side, not the left. Did not go to class and learn where the heart is.
So I guess Ice-T was right. He wasn't a killer, even though he shot the same person twice, and he's lost his 2 best friends in the world. People like that are theoretically in a state to kill, once they've gotten through their inhibitions.
Yeah, and Butch's death made him angry, but he's solely responsible for Stray Bullet's death. Like, they were going to live, at least for a while. But anyways, back to the story. Leprechaun shows back up, pins Postmaster against the wall, is about to come get his flute. Mac Daddy walks up behind him. This is a scene we skipped earlier, but basically the Leprechaun falls for the same trick that Mac Daddy fell for earlier and gets hit by a chair from behind. And the Leprechaun decides, I'm done with this guy. And then Mac Daddy's dying, he's falling, and he throws the medallion up into the air, and it's going towards the Leprechaun, and the Leprechaun's looking up very nervously. And right as it kind of fades, it goes to a whole different scene where Postmaster is rapping as a famous rapper, basically.
Sunglasses on, in the dark. He's made it now.
Yeah, in a dark suit. And it's trying to make us believe that the Leprechaun was caught and he's stoned again. And they finished the rhyme.
All I could think was, what a lame way to end that.
Yeah, that would have been such a lame ending. But at the end, Postmaster gets done rapping, and he takes off the sunglasses, and he's got the green glowing eyes.
At this point, I loved the movie. I thought I hated it, but suddenly I changed my tune. Oh!
And we see... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I just wanted to put that in there. It was the best reveal in any of these movies we've seen yet.
Oh, yeah. And the Leprechaun is revealed to be the manager with his own pair of sunglasses, and he raps triumphantly. In the corner. Yeah. And then you think the movie's done.
Well, you got to at least include the line where what does the leprechaun say when he's hanging in the corner booth? I taught him everything he knows, isn't it?
Oh
Isn't that
yeah.
what
I
it
taught him
is?
everything he knows. Yeah, yeah. And then as they're doing the credits, they cut to the club, and you have the leprechaun doing a rap. And it's just like the turtles with Ice Ice Baby. It's
Vanilla
amazing.
Ice. Yeah.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice. And he's dancing around and he's turning them into zombie fly girls. And after he, fly girls them, they start dancing around. I come from the land of the Irish Spring. Dublin's the place where I learned my thing. From the Emerald Isle to your place in the hood. I'm a man of green, comes to do no good. Lep in the hood, comes to do no good. Lep in the hood,
That's
comes to do no good.
that's the chorus there, girls. Left in the hood, come to do no good.
Yeah.
It's amazing how far that last two scenes go to this movie's legacy.
Oh, yeah. Blunt is dope, this place is hype. There's a lassie, she's just my type. I hate to resort so soon to magic, but I haven't been laid so long as tragic. Show me that you do. When you get down, I'll go up, you'll go down. We'll cause a scene. You'll love the green. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Lep in the
Gosh,
hood,
I
when
don't
we're
want to
bad,
think
we're
about him
good.
having kids again. Yeah, like that. We haven't really had to face that since the second movie.
No. Then the closing of it is from the cliffs of Mohor to your front door. I'll give you all you need and more. Then you and I are going to get it on. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. And it repeats it a couple times. And then it's over. And you don't
Roll
sound to
credit.
me like someone who disliked this movie.
Again, it's amazing how much that ending does for me. Because so, as much as I've liked some of these other movies, the endings are just so dumb. Except for the first one, right? I mean, I like that Lucky Charms and the clover right in the mouth. Second movie, ridiculous ending. Third movie had potential, but even more ridiculous ending. Fourth movie, just a poor man's Alien.
Yeah, it's the actual ending of the fourth movie is fine, but getting there was not so good.
It's like, how many times are you going to kill him off? But man, you killed him off twice in the Returns movie, and he's still alive. So it's not like he wins, but he survives. But it's not as satisfying. The little leprechaun grows on you like a wart, like a tumor, like something you didn't treat. But eventually, you just you get fascinated by it. You just look at it, and you're like, yeah, we wanted to have him at least one win in this series. You want to see Godzilla win after a while. And not only does he win, but he gets to do a song and dance about it, even if you think that's a flashback or a, whatever.
He wins. The leprechaun wins. He does get blown up one time in the movie, but it's very early on and clearly not his death. But anyways, yeah, this is a fun movie. I think the only cast member who's alive at the end of it, other than Grandma, is Prosperity Pete. Or Positive P.
We hope Grandma's alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, the Fly Girls, presumably.
How are we going to rate this thing?
There are flutes. There are fake afros with an infinite amount of space inside them. Infinite space afro toppers.
I feel like we kind of have to do flute.
Well, and we could also do clover weed. I feel like it's a little bit risque. I'm not an expert to speak on joints, so I can't accurately tell you the value of one joint over another or a half joint or anything like that.
I guess we could do stray bullets.
I'd be okay with stray bullets. Right. A lot of bullets in this movie, some that land on the intended target, some that don't.
I don't remember what I gave 3, but I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 stray bullets.
Woo!
It's really good. It's definitely a product of the 90s. We'll put it that way. If they made this movie today, it would not be as funny. I don't know what they do to it, but they would neuter it and be afraid to push certain buttons.
Well, I feel like there's no way you'd get away with the simple but satisfying villain wins ending. I just feel like they'd try to do something more to tease us to come back.
If they know that there's going to be a sequel, they might do it. Like if it's a 2-movie deal and you already know you're going to have Leprechaun back in the hood, you could do something. But yeah, I think this is a 4 out of 5. The dialogue is great. Even the non-Leprechaun dialogue is good. You have a very short, I wish it had been longer, rap battle where Postmaster Pete is doing raps in Irish accent with the Leprechaun at the very end when he's stuck against the pole. They should have gone back and forth a few times, and they only did one. But that's great little thing. And then I like that they brought the medallion back. I like the stone leprechaun. I don't like the CGI one they used in the middle. I like most of this movie. The stuff I don't like, I recognize they are just plot points to get the story moving along. So I'm okay with that. It's a Leprechaun movie.
Do you think this movie at any point does it drag? Like I've complained about some of the other ones when you're kind of waiting for people to get from one place to another, or
there's a lot of drag in this movie. Yes.
What would you say would be the drag points?
That was a pun. But
wait, sorry, I'd already forgotten about what's his name.
Honestly, I think those are the points where it does drag a little bit. Specifically, the one where they're hiding in the guy's apartment and they have a little garden. I don't know if that scene contributes anything.
Boy, I've forgotten about that. Yeah. They do it outside and the neighbors are complaining until Postmaster P plays the flute. So I got to rate this thing, right? Based on hold on. Not
Stray
magic
bullets.
flutes.
Stray
bullets. All right. I got to rank him on stray bullets. A 5 stray bullet sequence. So I just went back and forth as I was watching this. I said, do I hate this movie? Do I respect this movie? Do I love this movie? And at some point, I felt every one of those. So I was probably, when they did the ending where the necklace flies up in the air and comes down, I was inclined to say this is going to get a 1 star from me, because I wasn't thinking about what we had yet. But I was just so down on it. I said, one bullet, but it turned on me like a magic bullet in Dallas, and it spun around, and it came back, and it hit a target. Thinking, man, this is wild. So there's a bunch of scenes in the movie that it just, I don't know, could have been done better. But everybody in the movie is trying very hard for the part that was written for them. And I thought the dumbest scene was probably the opening when they gave Ice-T his magic afro. But after that, it's interesting. Just because it gives me a roller coaster of emotions as I interpret it. And because, let's face it, I'm a white boy. I'm just a little bit too button up. So I'm going to settle on, after all the magic bullets have turned and swerved, there's 3 stray bullets. And they leave some holes in the wall, which are nevertheless a big W instead of a big L.
So I think my pushback to you is that you've laughed an awful lot as we've talked about this movie for it to be a 3-bullet movie.
It's probably the most technically sound in this series, except for maybe the first one. It makes mistakes, but they aren't near as bad as everybody else's logic mistakes. And we don't have to worry about weird things where people shouldn't be in one place when they need to be in another. Well, I'm not going to split a bullet in 2. I can't split a bullet. So it just has to be 3.
What about 3 stray bullets in 1 casing?
What about 3 stray bullets that nevertheless leave 4 holes in the wall? There's a riddle for you.
Okay, we can take that.
3 stray bullets that leave 4 holes in the wall.
Sounds good. I was thinking about the Leprechaun and how you have all these different movies and all these different locations and time periods, and you could really do a television series of the Leprechaun where it's almost Tales of the Crypt style, that none of them have anything to do with each other, and we just meet up to this Leprechaun in some random situation, random planet, random time span, time frame.
All over the place.
Yeah, and you can get creative. But anyways, Leprechaun 5, truly known as Leprechaun in the Hood. It was a lot better than I expected, but that's been Leprechaun 5. And I think we're going to do the last one next week, the last real one. Well, Lep in the Hood come to do no good. See you, everybody.
But it was pretty good. I mean, shockingly.
Very good.